Hello traders, it's a new week. Let's get to our weekly top-down analysis. So let us start by breaking down VIX 100. Let us get some trading setups for the upcoming week. So we are going to begin by marking of our supply in the demand zones. There is a supply. That is the supply. That is our supply. And then we have our demand right there. That is the demand zone. That is our demand. That is all from the weekly time frame. Price is moving from supply to the demand. However, it's not yet there. That is all the information we need on the weekly time frame. And then if we go to our daily time frame, so on the daily, we can mark our resistance and support levels. So that is our support. That is our support level. That is our support. And then if we minimize, we can see that price is reacting off at that resistance. Price is reacting from that resistance level. Price is reacting from the resistance level. And then we can mark our resistance. The last resistance, the last swing point, that resistance there. If price does indeed break this resistance, then our next resistance to watch out for is that resistance. Okay, let us try to see the recent price action to try to understand what price is doing. So there was a higher high, a higher low, and then we got our change of character. So this is a reversal. So reversal that is happening at the resistance. It's looking like price is about to push down. So that is our change of character. That is a change of character. And when a change of character happens, price will always go back to the order block, which caused that change of character. In this case, it is that order block where price stepped in, and then we are getting a move to the downside. So that is our order block where price stepped in. So from the daily time frame, we can see that price has reversed from that resistance level. Price is reversed from the resistance level. Therefore, we are going to be looking for selling opportunities. because a change of character has happened. Change of character, price went back to go tap into the origin or order block, which caused this change of character, and then it's pushing down. That is all from the daily. And then from the 4 hours time frame, we can be able to adjust our order block from the daily time frame, which is that. And the change of character as well, we can adjust the change of character happened. Change of character happened at that level. The change of character, it happened at that level where price decided to break that higher low. See, when a change of character happens, price will always go back to go and tap into the order block, which caused the change of character. Now we are getting a move to the downside. So what else can we be able to see on there? For our time frame, can be able to mark our break of structure. That is our break of structure. Whenever price break a structure, we always mark our order block, and then we wait for price to go and mitigate that order block. So that is the break of structure. That is a break of structure, and then that is the order block. That is the order block, which caused that break of structure. So we are going to wait for price to go and mitigate this order block because we have broken structure. Now it's looking like price is going to mitigate our order block. So I'm waiting for price to go and mitigate our order block, and then I'll look for selling opportunities. That is all on there on the 4 hours. And then if we go to our one hour time frame, the order block is that one. So that is where we are going to wait for price to come back and mitigate. And the way this VIX 100 moves, whenever it moves, price always breaks structure and then mitigates an order block. Like for instance, here, there was a break of structure. And then what happened? Price broke structure. That is a break of structure. And then the order block, which caused that break of structure, it is that one where price went to go and mitigate. So price broke structure and then it went to go and tap in that order block. That is the one that dished out this move. That is the one that dished out that move. And then always make sure the order blocks are being mitigated. Because if they are not mitigated and then you place your entries elsewhere, you might become the liquidity. Always make sure as price is moving, the order blocks are being mitigated. Otherwise, you will enter from a liquidity area. So that is how I always do it. I know how this VIX 100 moves. I've back tested it and I know the behavior of VIX 100. So that is the area in which I'm going to wait for price to go and mitigate. It looks like we have another break of structure right there. And we cannot place an entry there at this break of structure because price did not mitigate that order block. Therefore, we cannot place an entry here. Otherwise, we are going to become the liquidity. If we do place an entry at this order block, we're going to become the liquidity that price will sweep to go and tap into that order block. Therefore, that one I'm seeing as inducement. So I'm going to leave that. So I'm waiting for price. It's looking like price is going to mitigate my order block. And then I will look for entries to the downside because price has reversed. Unless price decides to violate my order block, then I will change my bias. But as things are looking, we have reversed. We have moved from buying to selling because we have broken the higher high, the higher low. So I'm looking for selling opportunities on VIX 100. So wait for price to go and mitigate that order block, and then you wait for a bearish engulfing and then a bearish pin bar, or wait for a tweezer top or a doji and a confirmation at that order block. So that is the setup I'll be waiting for on VIX 100. So that is all. Let us move to volatility 100, VIX 100. So from the weekly time frame, we can mark our supply in the demand zones. So that is our supply. That is our supply. And then we have our demand zone down there. That is where we have our demand zone, and it looks like price is currently reacting at that demand zone. That demand, and it looks like the momentum has changed because price came to tap into this order block, and then it pushed for how many weeks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. For 6 weeks, however, all this movement of 6 weeks was just cleared by this one move to the downside. So that indicates to me that the momentum has shifted from buying to selling, because this move of 6 weeks was just covered by this one candle which formed a bearish engulfing. That is all on the daily. So I'm going to be looking for sales until I see prices change the character. But at the moment, it looks like price is still pushing to the downside. So I'm going to be placing sales until I see a change of character at this demand zone. Until I see a change of character at that demand zone, I am going to be placing sales, because my strategy is indicating and the conditions are indicating we are still pushing to the downside. So right there, that is where we are waiting for price at this demand zone to come and tap in here, and then this is when we'll see whether price will break this demand to the downside, or we are going to have a reversal to the upside. But yes, that is the demand. And then we have our resistance. Price is coming from that resistance, the one that is pushing price to the downside, that resistance there. That is a resistance that is pushing price to the downside. And as we can see, price has just broken this support level. So this is what we call this is a break of structure. This is a break of structure that we've broken. This is a break of structure. That is a break of structure that had occurred here. Now, this is the order block which caused that break of structure. So according to my strategy, when price breaks structure, it always leaves an order block, which is that one. In that case, we have broken structure. So we are going to wait for price to go and mitigate that order block. We are waiting for a selling opportunity at that order block, because that is the strategy I trade. SMC, whenever price breaks structure, I mark my order block and wait for price to go and mitigate that order block. So that is the break of structure on the daily time frame. That is the order block. I'm waiting for price to go and tap in there for a move to the downside. For a move to the downside. When I move to the downside, then on the 4 hours, from the 4 hours, it looks like that order block has been mitigated. Looks like this order block has been mitigated because price broke structure and then it went to retrace back into that order block. So this order block has been mitigated. But let us look for a new break of structure and mark a new order block. So we have another break of structure here. So we have another break of structure right there. We have another break of structure. So that is a break of structure. And then the order block which caused that break of structure, which is that one. So that is the order block that I'll be targeting because the order block up there has been mitigated. So I'm going to be targeting that order block because we have just broken a new low. So that is the order block from the 4 hours. If we go to the 1 hour time frame, from the 1 hour time frame, you can be able, because this one has been mitigated, break of structure, price went back to going to mitigate that order block is the one that is dishing out this move. So our new order block is this one. So this is the order block we are targeting from the 1 hour time frame. From the 1 hour time frame, that is the order block I'll be targeting. And it's looking like all my confluences are intact. Break of structure, order block present, and our FVG is also present. Our FVG is present. Our FVG present. And our liquidity, the liquidity that price will sweep, also looks like it's present here. That is the liquidity. I'm seeing that price will sweep to come and tap us into our order block. So I'm waiting for price to go and mitigate this order block and then continue pushing up. So that is the entry that I'm waiting for, as all my influences are intact. We have a break of structure, order block present, our FVG, liquidity present, that I'm seeing that price will sweep to go and tap us into that order block. If that does not happen and price decides to push down, then we'll mark new order blocks as price decides to break new lows. So that is all. That is how I do my weekly top-down analysis. So thank you, traders. That is all for this episode. If you did get something out of this video, do give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel and drop a comment in the comment section. I'll see you in our next episode, which is next week. Happy trading.